Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting ASQ Quality Talk live panel. When quality management becomes a juggling act across multiple sites, systems, and ERPs, it can cost organizations valuable time, resources, and clarity of purpose. Emerson faced that same challenge and found a way to simplify, standardize, and scale with a unified quality management system. I'm your host, Jen Swanson, and today I'm joined by Ben Aherns, Director of Global Quality at Emerson, and Jennifer Bianchini, Senior Product Marketing Manager at ETQ. Together, we'll explore their journey shifting Emerson from fragmented, homegrown tools to an automated enterprise-wide QMS and share insights on tackling supplier complexity, streamlining ERP integration, and reducing the cost of poor quality. Ben and Jennifer, thank you for joining the panel discussion. Ben, can I have you introduce yourself and then Jennifer can follow?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Jen. Excited to join you and Jennifer here today. As you mentioned, I'm Ben Aherns. I'm the Director of Global Quality for Emerson. More specifically, I work in the Flow Controls business unit. That name probably doesn't mean much to any of you. That we're better known for the brands of process control equipment that we supply, including Fisher, Crosby, and Sempel. I've been with Emerson for 17 years now, and 15 of those 17, I've been in the quality department. Throughout those 15 years, I've been able to hold pretty much every role in quality, from manufacturing quality engineer to supplier quality engineer and plant quality manager. And then after that, I took on some leadership roles over North America and now the global quality director. As you mentioned, the topic today is about our journey with simplifying and standardizing our quality management system, journey that we've been partnering on with ETQ for the last 4 years, and excited to share more about that today.
Thanks, Jen. And hey, Ben, how you doing? So I'm excited to be here because, as you had mentioned, this is all about turning quality from a juggling act into a real advantage. I think Emerson's story, it really shows how moving from multiple homegrown systems to one unified platform can cut complexity, reduce the cost for quality, and overall make life easier for everyone. So I'm really looking forward to share all of the work that took place and what everyone can take away from our talk today.
I know this will be an exciting conversation, so let's go ahead and delve into our first topic question. What were the key quality management challenges Emerson was facing prior to implementing a centralized electronic quality management system? How did those challenges influence your decision to pursue a more scalable, unified solution? Ben, do you want to go ahead and go first?
Sure, Jen. So I'd assume that the challenges we faced were pretty similar to what any other multi-site manufacturing company faces or has faced. And we have customers around the world, and so that we can respond quickly to those customers and have short lead times that they need, we have developed a global manufacturing footprint. These locations, they start up at different times. They have different levels of expertise and experience. And then as they mature and work through, root cause analysis and things, they begin to develop their own solutions to make their operations more efficient. Solutions like local corrective action systems, local supplier controls, training programs, work instructions. And then because they built these locally, they all sit on local servers, which makes it impossible to scale. They also often only consider local industry requirements, something we deal with a lot with our products in our industries. Because they're developed locally, generally there is one person in that building who knows how to fix it or make updates. If something gets broken, that person's not around, then a lot of times you end up building a new solution or hoping you can find somebody who can figure out how to fix it. In part because of limitations and how they're developed, and in part because of all the sites have created similar solutions. They always prefer to use what they've developed in-house. There's the culture of wanting to continuously improve, and that's a great thing. Everyone usually has the best of intentions, but it can lead to a lot of unintended consequences. Our customers expect a very consistent product, no matter which planet it ships from. We decided that having a centralized quality management system will drive us to have this consistency. overcome those challenges that we just mentioned is enough to justify the cost of implementation. And we get the added bonus of it really fits into our digital transformation journey that we're on. Having this system in place gives us the framework to introduce things like AI solutions and digital inspection tools that will further drive value in organization while maintaining the quality standards that our customers expect.
Yeah, so Emerson's situation is one that we see quite often with our customers at ETQ. As Ben had mentioned, multiple homegrown systems that are operating independently across sites and regions. So our customers find that this fragmentation creates really significant challenges for them, such as scalability issues as they try to grow their business globally. There's operational inefficiencies from the manual processes and the siloed data. And then there's limited visibility into their quality metrics. So it makes it really difficult to identify trends or manage risk proactively. So when challenges like this are recognized, it becomes clear that a unified enterprise grade solution is needed to standardize these processes, improve their compliance, and reduce the cost of poor quality. And that's where our solution, ETQ Reliance, is positioned to really help our customers. So the platform's designed for that scalability that's needed. It's flexible, and it enables organizations to consolidate all of their systems that they have, their business systems, their ERPs, into a single source of truth. So with ETQ Reliance, as Ben had mentioned, he talked to, Emerson could automate their workflows, integrate with their ERP systems, and gain that real-time visibility across all of their global operations. So this ultimately transforms quality from a reactive function into a strategic driver of inefficiency, leading to customer satisfaction.
All right, thank you both for these insights. So let's take a look at our first poll question. What is the biggest challenge in quality management today? We had multiple systems, manual processes, compliance risk, lack of visibility, or not sure. It looks like multiple systems has the most votes. Jennifer and Ben, what do you think about that?
I'm not surprised by that at all. That's something I'm sure many companies are just like Emerson, in that you develop at different paces and different sites, and people are always trying to find an easier way of doing their job, and that just inherently leads to developing systems that work for you, and people don't collaborate great across different locations. So yeah, I'm not surprised by that result.
Oh, absolutely. As I mentioned, we see it a lot. So as organizations, they continue to grow, they continue to scale, it's a very, very common problem to have.
All right, so we'll cover the next poll question shortly. I want to check back into our next topic question. So supplier quality was a major challenge for Emerson, especially in demonstrating compliance across several industries and countries. How did an eQMS help automate and streamline supplier qualification? Ben, you want to take this first?
Sure, Jen. If you were asked this question to anybody outside of the quality organization, they'd probably say this was the biggest improvement that we've seen. Like I mentioned, the first question, we make a lot of products. They can be electronic, they can be pneumatic. They see all sorts of temperature ranges and pressures. They can be used in any industry that has piping systems. So now this leads us to having so many supplier qualification lists. We sell into nuclear power. Well, there's industry requirements there, and we know the unique suppliers list. Military or government use, different oil and pressure vessel codes, European specific codes like NORSOC and PED. All of these inherently lead us to having multiple suppliers lists. You could be one supplier but be qualified for 3 or 5 of these things. So what we ended up having was in our flow controls quality system, we have 8 different supplier qualification lists, dozens of audit checklists, leads to auditing schedules that are unmaintainable. So you take a complicated part and give it to a buyer and ask them who they can purchase this from. They may have to hit 5 different databases just to figure out whether or not they're allowed to buy this particular commodity or part from a supplier. When we went to the eQMS, we were able to configure their system and combine all of that down into one list. And then we also were able to integrate with our ERP and then really drive consistency. I'm guessing a lot of you listening in have had similar issues. A plant you take the word company. You could write company, you could write CO, you could write CO period. It ends up with there's 3 different suppliers, exactly the same thing. So then we end up with this single source of truth that Jennifer had mentioned before. Everything is built off of that. You're able to create dashboards easy enough that I could do it when you don't have all these different supplier names. We're able to make our non-conformance dashboards easier. We're able to give access to suppliers for that. We're able to automate a lot of the auditing and the checklist creation and the reporting. So we've seen a ton of improvement in our processes on the supplier quality side.
Yeah, I think this is a really great question. And how we were able to step in and help Ben and Emerson, it's pretty simple. It all comes down to automation. So we help to automate the entire supplier lifecycle. So what does that mean? Well, with everything from onboarding, qualification, and ongoing performance tracking, it's all happening in one system. So to give some examples about this, think about PPAPs and SCARs, automating those workflows. So we've seen most of our customers typically cut their manual efforts by around 50%. Then there are compliance documents. So they're centralized and they're now version controlled. And here we've seen customers who are able to drop their audit prep time by at least around 70%. And then all of this allows, as Ben had said, integration with the ERP. So this is supplier data that is now flowing seamlessly between the systems and is giving real-time visibility across the supply chain. So you're now taking these steps to automate. And when you're doing this, you're gaining that consistent global process for supplier management. You're reducing your non-conformances. And overall, you're improving collaboration with your suppliers. So this is a great example of how an eQMS turns complexity into control, as it did for Ben and the teams that he works with at Emerson.
All right, fantastic. I'm curious to see what poll number 2 is looking like. What's the biggest advantage you'd expect from a centralized eQMS? Lower operational costs, automated supplier management, stronger compliance, scalable processes, or all of the above? Oh boy, let's see. Overwhelmingly, it's all of the above. Ben, Jennifer, what do you think about that? Ben, how about you first?
I can definitely say we've seen all of those in our experience in these 4 years in the journey. So I would have voted for all of the above as well.
And you, Jennifer?
Yeah, maintaining quality is very complex. So I'm not surprised to see that at all. Where quality managers, quality champions, they're juggling a lot of hats.
All right, let's move on to our third and final topic question. Implementing a quality management system at scale often comes with valuable lessons. From your experience, what were some of the key takeaways during your eQMS ETQ Reliance implementation? Ben, how about you take it away?
When we first started the journey, it's obviously a very daunting task. multiple countries, multiple locations, a lot of change management side of things to deal with. So we decided that we were going to just take a step back and really use this as an opportunity to make a step change. Remove all those band-aids that have been put on throughout the decades and really get back to the foundation of what it is that we want to do. So that's something that we knew we had to do this correctly. We knew that if we made mistakes along the way, that human nature was going to take over and people were going to want to go back to rebuilding their side programs. We definitely didn't want anybody to say their favorite feature was that you can export to Excel, because that's what we've dealt with before. Selling the long-term vision and the benefits was fairly easy once we had our customers' feedback. We had lots of ideas coming out of the plants and things that we knew they wanted to do, so we made sure we incorporated that into the vision. And then once we had the vision set, the pressure was on my global team to find a solution that was going to deliver this. It was a long process. We looked at multiple vendors. We had to find the one that was the right fit for us, because we knew we had to get it right the first time. So we ran into ETQ at a trade show. We found out that another Emerson business unit was already using them. We had a great experience working with them. So being able to talk to somebody who had firsthand knowledge and had already seen the benefits was a huge help in selling it to our management. And then once we'd done that, we did an extensive process mapping. We want to make sure we were optimizing our processes instead of trying to customize the solution to fit what we were already doing. Find better ways of doing things up front. And then having those maps in place made it really easy when we started working with developers to be able to just customize instead of having to, configure instead of having to customize. I always get those two words mixed up. We were able to take ETQ, use all the options they had built in, and be able to quickly configure it to our needs. We also delayed implementation one time just to make sure our data was clean. Again, we wanted to use this as our step change. We wanted to make sure this made life easier for everybody, get rid of all those duplicate supplier names and make it one and have our source of truth. And then part of our change management process that also has helped is the global team and the developers do a lot of the testing up front before we give it to the users. We have one chance to impress them and make them want to use the system. So having it where it's just little tweaks to make their preferences be met at the end. And that really went a long way, and people were quickly able to see the improvement that we could deliver to them.
Yeah, to add on what Ben was saying about clean data is everything. And this is something that we encourage with all of our customers. So if you're migrating bad data, you're going to get bad results. So really take that time, invest it upfront to make sure that the data is accurate and consistent. I would say another lesson that we've seen across our customer base is the value of adding out-of-the-box functionality. So Emerson was really great at this. They kept the customizations to a minimum, so it made deployment faster and easier for their developers. And then when you're looking at integration, so what I had mentioned before, automating processes like audits, corrective actions, scars, and nonconformances, etc. So before ETQ Reliance, some tasks were required in their situation where they had to bounce between several systems, and now they have it all in one place. So taking a look at this from the big picture, it's clean data, leverage out-of-the-box features, and integrate wherever you can.
Thank you both so much. I know our audience will leave this discussion with some great ideas to move forward. Speaking of our audience, let's see if we have any questions from them, shall we? Question number 1, how long did it take to implement the ETO system across the board? And how many sites were covered? Ben, do you want to tackle this first?
Sure. And so I guess full disclosure, we're still working on some of this. We really took a two-pronged approach to it. The corrective action, auditing, supplier qualification piece we implemented globally across 18 sites. Because of the integrations and other developments we were doing, that's been a little bit over a year to get it fully done. Not ETQ's fault. A lot of that was internal things we had to work through. And then the nonconformance piece, inspection plans, PPAP, that part of it we're doing site by site so we can integrate with the local equipment as well. So eventually that will be all 18 of the sites, but we're doing 2 sites a year and working through that today.
Have anything to add to that?
I would say each customer situation is unique. Some customers, they'll just do one site at a time. Others will just, they want to go big. So they go across. Well, it's up to the customer. What is their biggest priority? Some it's document management. They're having trouble managing version control over their documents, or their customer or their employees don't have access to the documents that they need. So it really is it comes down to what is their biggest priority, the biggest challenge that they're facing that they need to tackle. And also, I would add where they can see the biggest return on their investment with using an eQMS.
Ben, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, the other piece that we considered was, what was an easy win? Getting people used to a system that's a little bit different. Getting the global team was what we went with first, the global quality group with the auditing. It's an easy win, gets them in the system, gets everybody else visibility to how the system works. And then we built off of that to continue spreading and adding more modules.
Wonderful. And what advice would you give to organizations juggling multiple quality systems today? Ben, how about you?
A lot of the other business units in Emerson are still there. At some point, it's definitely worth the effort and the time that it takes to implement one system. You can continue to battle through your day with the homegrown systems and the manuals, ways of doing things, but at some point you deal with the amount of effort and that it's going to take to get the implemented single system, and it is definitely worth that effort.
Amazing. Jennifer, do you have anything to add to that?
Gosh, so there could be lots of reasons why people are still working with several systems. But I think my main piece of advice with that would be if it's because you don't have budget or the financial backing to do it, then start building a business case on why you need to have one single system of truth for quality management, and work within your organization on getting the advocates to promote and work with you on why it's important, not just to the quality teams, but all the other teams throughout the organization, how important it is to have a centralized system for managing quality and being able to show that you can pivot quality from a cost center to a business center. So start putting that business case together and working with other advocates within your organization to get approved funding for it.
All right, here we've got another audience question. Do you integrate quality with health, safety, and environment? Ben, how about you first?
Sure. So I know ETQ probably has a little bit different answer on this one. We don't anymore. We did for a long time. The quality folks were also safety and health professionals. We still help each other out. We look at safety when we're at our supplier sites and when we're auditing our manufacturing locations. And we definitely work together with the safety professionals when we're implementing new test equipment, making sure that we're keeping our folks safe. There's just the world is changing with the digital transformation, all these new AI and vision systems. There's just too much right now for the quality folks to handle to be able to give the give the time and attention to safety that we think it needs. So that's no longer a single department. Those are split responsibilities, but we just work very closely together with them.
Jennifer, anything to add to that?
Well, we absolutely do offer that for customers who are interested in it. We have customers who do use it very successfully. So if it's something that anyone would be interested in, please do reach out to me or to us, and we can definitely provide more information on that.
All right. And what recommendations do you have for a QM trying to create the vision for the EQS? Ben, you want to take us away?
Sure, that's a hard question that took us a lot of time to work through here with my group. The first thing we did was look at the customer feedback. What is it that they want us to do as a business? And for us, it was, maintaining our reputation with not having customer complaints, field issues. So we knew we had to maintain that standard. The second thing we knew we had to do was get faster, because customers are living in the Amazon world. They want their orders tomorrow, and so we had to find ways of evolving without eroding that quality. So we started there, and then we just started brainstorming. What is it that we can do from a initiative standpoint? What can we implement and build off of to help us be faster without eroding the quality that our customers expect? So brainstorming session for a couple days on a chalkboard or marker board, and go from there, and then start talking to the manufacturing folks and leadership, and just continuing to develop that vision and strategy from there.
And Jennifer, do you have any additional recommendations?
Again, I would say it's, what is your organization's priority? Is it less customer complaints? Is it faster time to market with a high quality product? Just what is the overall goal when it comes to quality and your organization? And again, working with the other advocates within your organization, because I would say, as Ben did, as they did in Emerson, shouldn't be siloed within quality, but you should be aligning as a whole within the organization on what the goal should be.
Right. And is there any risk management component to the system, Ben?
I believe there is. Jennifer can confirm that. It's not one that we have on our roadmap today, but it's one that we're considering down in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have that as well. I don't have all of the details with me right now, but more than happy, whoever asked the question would love to follow up with them. But it is something that is widely used by other customers within ETQ.
All right. It looks like we've got time for one final question. Which would you do first, ERP or eQMS? Ben?
That's a tough question. I mean, so my experience, we have the ERP system in place. So I've never done eQMS without the ERP. I guess my answer would be it depends. That's the quality answer always, right? I guess if it was a single site, I can see the benefits of an eQMS, and I think you can make it work for you similar to an ERP. If it's multiple sites and you're trying to do similar things across different sites, I would probably start with the ERP and then add the eQMS to that.
What do you think, Jennifer?
Of course, I'm going to say QMS.
Hey, thank you for submitting these great questions, everyone. As we can conclude the panel, I'd like to thank Ben and Jennifer for joining us. Do you have any thoughts or remarks to share, Ben?
And not much to add, Jen. I really appreciate the time to talk with you and Jennifer and share the lessons we've learned from this. Again, if you're going for consistency, which I think all businesses are, I highly recommend finding a way of having a single eQMS and building off of that. So again, thanks for the time.
And Jennifer?
Thanks to everyone for joining us today, and thank you, Ben. I'm so glad you shared Emerson's journey, showing what's possible when you're moving from multiple systems to one unified platform. So appreciate you sharing your story. Thanks, everyone.
Well, thank you again to our panelists and audience who tuned in again for this ASQ Quality Talk live panel. Have a wonderful day, everyone.